the view is who has the first instance view of the collection before being swapped to the
Sorry, Chair. What is a first instance view?
As in, who has a view when the streams are being paid?
We have a view.
You can tell us what you have collected now?
Right now.
Can we see it?
I can, just anyone, all of us can see. I can tell you how much.
As also, my next, because you say the person who hosts is the Ministry of ICT, does the ministry which hosts, including recovery, have a view of that payment?
No, Chair. The ministry does not have that view.
But from the agreement, it is something different. The annexes you have attached.
Development
means the recovery.
Recovery.
So which means when you have a problem, there is a downtime or a problem with the system, the person you approach for recovery is the Ministry of ICT. Am I right or wrong? Because that's the response of the governor.
That's disaster recovery, Chair. But tell us.
Chair, there's got a big difference between the physical infrastructure and access to the system. When you access the system, that is when you can...
So you are saying you have exclusive access to the system, no any other user can access the system?
Chair, the only persons who can access the system are the Nairobi City County users and the developers.
How many do you have users that can access?
I would say around 600 Nairobi City County users.
600? 600 users can access?
Yeah, to view. Yeah. You need your revenue officer in Korogosho to see how much is coming in from the slaughterhouse. Because they have to report on their performance every day. If the target is 100,000, you need to know what you collected yesterday, how much is coming in today.
By what time in a day?
It's real time.
By 5?
It's a real time.
As in, how do they know they have collected their target? At what time of the day?
Even it's real time.
Even midnight?
Real time is all the time.
So all the time, it is real time. You know, you are paying these people 24 hours. I thought they work from 8 to 5 p.m.
You pay people 8 to 5, but they can open their email at night. Isn't it? Or the email close at 5 p.m.
But Governor, you are telling us you could not sign some documents because it was past business working hours.
I think you are digressing.
I'm not digressing. You are out of order, Governor. You cannot be claiming that you work 24 hours. Then you say, no,
I don't know if you got the question he's asking. He's asking if the staff can see after 5 p.m. Of course. You can see him at any time of the day.
You know, Governor,
you are now beginning to behave like Mutuse.
Yes.
Are you with us?
No, I think...
Chair, I think you not heard what he's asking.
Then why are you answering something you have not known what you are asking? My question was
question. Yeah.
You have said that somebody in Korogosho should know their target. I'm asking at what point? Because if you are saying if it is 100,000 target collection per day, how will they know? At what time do they know?
If you have access to a system, you can look at it at any time. It is not shut down.
So if you are collecting from
somebody can pay parking at 1 a.m.
I agree.
Or housing rent at any time.
I'm asking, is there a business that closed by 8 or by 5 in the evening?
And?
So does it have target, a specific target? You're saying you need to collect by this time, the amount that you have given your revenue collection officers?
Governor, it should be a simple yes or no.
No, it's not a yes or no, because he's asking whether they can see at any time the collection. I've told him it's real time. Real time means 24/7. If somebody pays parking at
Governor, can I rephrase the question?
They can be able to see. Yes.
So you give a target as per 24 hours?
Yes.
So you tell somebody in revenue collector in Korogosho that collect 100,000 within 24 hours?
Yeah.
So if they collect more?
Good for them.
Not for the county.
If they collect more revenue, all revenue comes into a system. There's no, that's what I explained earlier, there's no cash payment in Nairobi.
My second question was, how many revenue streams does this system accommodate?
All of the revenue streams, 100.
How many? Your ROR is there?
141 revenue streams.
141 revenue streams.
Yes.
Even
and all of them come to
the contract captures 130 something streams.
Yes. Well, that's where I was coming to. Thank you, Chair, for that information.
We are covering. Was that further customization?
Further customization. You see, with the system, there are iterations every other day. there's development. That's why you have Microsoft version 1, version 1.2, 1.3.
But you have not attached your addendum on that extra.
You can't do an addendum on every iteration of a contract.
No, but I'm saying the fact that you signed for something 130 and then you are now having 141 streams. Chair, isn't that not interesting?
Yeah, because one of the reports then would be having the wrong number.
Yeah, the wrong number.
But since the Auditor General is going to do a proper system audit, I think it would be very important that we confirm that the streams, whether they're 140 or 130, are automated and there's actual collection. They are not just automated in theory, but collection is being done through those automated streams.
Chair, my last question. I have seen in Jambo Pay and other Web Tribe and others, they charge agency fee as percentage. Do you, I asked Senator Sifuna was asking about service fee to the Ministry of ICT. Do they charge you any agency fee and on which percentage?
Not currently.
Not anything?
Not currently.
Not currently?
Because you remember the philosophy then was for us to entirely own the system. Okay. As we speak, there's an intention from them for the continuous development to have a nominal fee attached to it. That negotiation is going on. The contract is with the Solicitor General.
So they underwrote the system development costs.
Yes,
and the licensing costs.
Yeah, and the licensing. And so now for software as a service, they intend to bring in now the percentage.
You know, I personally, as someone with some knowledge in this domain, in my view, this is the right model. A software as a service approach, it's a right model. We are having chaos, each county wanting to develop its own system. And the average cost of development of these systems or acquisition is about 50 million. So 50 times 47, you've got 2 billion Kenya shillings that is being spent on acquisition of systems. ICT, the trend is towards ICT as a shared service. And so the Ministry of ICT could build this capability and rent it out to counties, software as a service model. This, in my view, would be the most efficient approach. Of course, as a county, you can acquire an ERP. I support that because county governments don't have a human resource management platform. Many county governments, the workflows are not automated. So if Technobrain was to provide an ERP, then I think that's fair enough. As long as they are not duplicating a service that can be provided at a lower cost by the national government. And I'll be very keen to study this model. And maybe we call the National Treasury, call KRA, and that team that was developing another system, and ask them, why can't we just use this that has already been developed by the Ministry of ICT and use it as the base and roll it out to counties?
Yeah, I agree with you. First of all, you know, it's very difficult to argue with you on technology because you're distinguished in that field. The point is, the resistance by many counties is based on their functional, the constitutional functions. And, they feel, look, this is our function in the 4th schedule. It is chapter 12 in terms of what counties raise. No county, or rather other counties, do not want to yield that to the national government because we've had run-ins with the KRA trying to tax on-source revenue. No, you can't tax the revenue that we're raising. They have sent bills, they have sent agency notices to many counties and explain to them, you cannot tax revenue from the counties the same way you're not taxing your own revenue. You know, you can't put VAT on taxes that are, it's like double taxation. And so many counties feel like then if you yield this to the other level of government and not through a transfer in 187, then they will keep that money at source. Then number two, many counties already have contractual obligations that run into years, whether it is Jambo Pay or whichever other provider. And so what happens to those running contractual? That's why it got into headwinds. But I agree with you. A standardized model and system looking at economies of scale would be good for counties. If counties can collectively do it together, the better. Then you leave the neatness of institutional, responsibilities. But the role of collecting the taxes that counties have been given remains with the counties.
Definitely. That's why you have your officers, you've got your revenue board.
Yeah.
It does not take it away from you.
Yeah.
And after all, if MIS is a centralized system, I've not had counties complain about it. IPPD is a centralized system. Life Forms was a national government system. The only place where governors draw the line is when it comes to revenue collection systems. Because we have seen cases, even in the past, in Nairobi. One of the conversations, meeting I chaired, Senator Dulo was there, was with regards to the role of WebTribe and how opaque the operations were at some point in Nairobi City County. But if we build centralized competencies at a national government level, software as a service means whatever you're accessing cannot be accessed by Machakos, cannot be accessed by Kitui.
Yes.
In fact, you can have your own customizations as a county. It does not mean that Homa Bay will be seeing Nairobi Pay. They'll be seeing Homa Bay Pay. Yeah, so I think I would really want to drive conversation around this. And I hope that you are not planning to migrate from this, because I hear you say you want to have your system.
But yeah, I see where you're going.
This is the best framework for county governments.
And I want to thank you in advance for you about to commend me for using this as a service. I thank you in advance because I have not insisted on our own. There are some things that, of course, as a county, we want to maintain control of. Initially when you got in, and you'd ask for something, and the person you ask has to get permission elsewhere and reports to somebody else. I said, I will not take that. I'm the governor of Nairobi, I'm the CEO. If I ask for a module to be created, you create it. Yeah, because I'm accountable to the people of Nairobi. And until they change that thinking, and now we're completely, in charge of any development, any iteration, any amendment, then governors will be comfortable. And that's why I'm very comfortable with it.
All you need is an SLA.
Service level agreement.
Yeah, a service level agreement.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with the ministry charging a fee. Because when you want a customization, if you have an SLA, then they can have some geeks there who can respond within the timelines agreed in the SLA.
We have a huge development team, actually amazing young men and women, around 60. Why I would not want other counties is that I don't want to lose any of them. Of course, they can increase that capacity. You know how software engineers are. And they've really helped us. I must attribute our success in revenue collection on top of just to my staff, but to that development team. They have been, and I know our system sometimes has downtime, sometimes it hangs, etc. It is being strengthened. But I take your advice.
Clark, let's schedule. We must call the Ministry of ICT to just get further information about this system. Senator Dulo, sorry, I've kept you on the line.
I have a couple of questions to Governor Sakaja. Number one, how do you ensure that this system is safe so that there is no tampering as far as the running of the system is concerned? Number two, has this improved your revenue collection and also curb the issues of corruption in exchange for cash? Number three, is this system better than the one that you had before, Jambo and the rest? Number four, we are being told by so many governors who are actually doing the manual collection up to now that Treasury is working on a system that is accommodated across all the counties. We are trying to tell them no, but they are still insisting. We are waiting Treasury to give us go ahead. So is there anything like that you have discussed at the Council of Governors level? Finally, will you prescribe this particular system to other counties? Because you have tested it, you have proved it that it is improving revenue collection, and it's something that can help this country as far as revenue collection is concerned and also management of the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. I'll take the last three and have Taras deal with the security issue in terms of administrative, admin rights, etc., and access and firewalls, all of that. Number two was, has this improved revenue collection? Yes. The customizability of it and flexibility, number one, is what enabled us on the 1st of January this year. I was in City Hall while people were still in holiday. and I said we must move to UBP, which is a unified business permit, where all 6 licenses, whether it is fire, pest control, advertising, etc., were moved into one license, helped us record the highest amount on UBP ever. Due to this, we've been able to now hit shy of 13 billion, and this year we aim to hit the 20. I know we're going to do it, because of when you make everything cashless, then everything comes in. Now, the component that we are focusing on a bit more now is enforcement and compliance. Remember, with the cashless and digital unified business permit, there's self-declaration. And so a business somewhere in Utawala will be able to declare that I am this size of a business, this is what I'm doing, and they go through the module on Nairobi services.go.ke, and they describe their business, and they print out their license themselves and hang it. Now, once that is done, I said we have one team, not different teams, one team that then will come to verify whether you underpaid or overpaid. Of course, very few people overpay, mainly underpay, and then now we bridge that gap. So it has tremendously improved our revenue collection, that I must say, and I would recommend it to all the counties. Of course, as any system, it has its challenges, which we keep building and keep strengthening. Sometimes you'll find downtime because of internet. That is not the system. That is our, environment, the ICT environment that we're strengthening. Our data center at City Hall. Remember, our data center was set up in 2013, and it was not used for close to 10 years. So when I get there and I want to start using it properly, the equipment is end of life, And so and chairman, you understand what that means. You have huge servers and whatnot that are coming to end of life. And so we are still in discussions to the same support, that was World Bank support, to revamp that data center. So I would definitely recommend it to all other governors. It's better than what we've had before. It is better than WebTribe. It is better than Revenue Sure. It is better than the others deployed. And you know why? When you have a government system, you have data sets within government that you can rely on, that a private vendor cannot access. I can access your number plate and tell you and send you an SMS. No other system can do that. I can be, because NTSA will not give a private vendor that database. I can be able to compare with now for Nairobi, for instance. I have a huge database in Nairobi Water. Nairobi Water, every meter speaks to a premise or to a building. And part of what we want to do to increase our revenue, remember, is what we passed in Parliament together, the Sectional Properties Act. Why would one piece of land in Kileleshwa with one house pay the same rates as their neighbor with 60 apartments? And those 60 apartments all have a water connection, a power connection, use of our sewer and our road. Each of those need, and I hope part of the recommendation of this committee will be the end of life of RDA documents, and everybody must get a sectional title for the property. As it is, once your lease expires and you have an apartment with a certificate, the reversionary interest will go back to the owner of that apartment. And so we want to say in 6 months, let's transition all of it, and then we'll then move from an improved site value for rates. Today, Nairobi is the only city on the continent that bases its rates on an improved site value. World over, you have developed site value or an improvement indicator, because one house, somebody is staying in a house, it is 10-bedroom house with a lot of water, sauna, swimming pool, and the neighbor, for instance, Githogoro and Runda. Githogoro is an almost informal settlement, but the rate there is the same as Runda. It is not equitable. It is not right. And so you find that property taxes in Kenya are around 0.16% of GDP. World over, you need to move to close to 5% of that GDP, which is what we'll move to, which will give us the resources you're talking about. So the issue of COG, I think, of course, I'm not the spokesperson of the COG, but that discussion has happened, and it is really leaning towards that independence. I think the discussion must go on. The ICRMS that Treasury is trying to do may not be the answer. This is the answer. This what we call Nairobi Pay, we can have Homa Bay Pay, Mombasa Pay, whatever, is really a superior solution. And I can say that because the tax we collect in Nairobi is more than 32 counties combined, and so it's been tested at scale. It's been tested in the most rigorous county. We have the most the highest number of people trying to pay. You know, you test a system based on the number of hits on it, the number of users trying to, everyone getting an OTP per minute. If it can work in Nairobi, it will definitely work in any other county.
Thank you.
Just one last
Senator
question, Governor. I'm coming up with a bill on naming of the streets and also numbering of properties. Apparently, I'm told you have your own legislation.
Yeah.
Do you think this will help yourselves as counties in service delivery and also ensuring that you are able to collect revenue
Definitely.
within your counties?
That's amazing, Senator Dulo. What we have is a physical addressing and street naming policy in Nairobi. It's interesting, the first city to have a GIS-based, the Geomatic Information System-based physical addressing and street naming was Kigali. But it was done by a Kenyan called Steve, may God rest his soul in peace. He had implemented it for Nairobi through the World Bank, installed it in a room at City Hall, and the room was closed for 5 years until I became governor. I'm the one who opened that room. The system had been there, done by the companies called Urepi, installed, room locked. The same guys went, implemented it in Kigali. If you look at e-commerce, and now we're actually implementing it, and we intend to now launch, so that we're working with Google, so that you yourself can go online and see what is your real address. You look for a Boda person, you tell him, bring this thing to Chuilen. And he goes to Ruai, but you're in Karen. Because the people there have named another road Chuilen. You know, the street naming is a scientific process. Of course, it's a democratic process of who do we name the street after or what do we name it after. But in terms of the GIS system for e-commerce, you even get the specific